E-commerce is a big part of WordPress. WooCommerce has been around for years and years. There are other products like SureCart. There's StudioCart as a WordPress plugin I found. And I think there's a few things that could stand a little bit of change. WooCommerce has tons and tons of support, but the truth is the code is old, it's bloated, it's a very heavy plugin. And that's why I'm actually really happy to be able to share some news that the folks at WPManageNinja, who make a lot of my favorite products, Fluent Forms, FluentCRM, and so forth, are about to release a new product called FluentCart. It is built from the ground up to be lightweight, fast, and do a lot of things that you need plugins to use for WooCommerce to make it work. And I'm going to be able to show it to you. So first off, let's take a quick look at what they're announcing on the FluentCart.com page. And you can see a new era of commerce for WordPress, and they're making some promises. No crashes, no extensions, and just faster, lighter, and simpler. They've got their announcement video here, it's just a couple of minutes long, and they give you some more details on this page. I'm not going to go through this because I'll put this in the description below so you can follow up on it. But they've got a lot of information over here. They'll talk to you about what it is, what the ideas are that you can get, how to sell digital products, licenses. If you're a developer, they've got complete documentation here already. And if you need resources, they've got some blogs, frequently asked questions, and brand guidelines, which is basically how to get their logo and stuff and how to use that. But it gets a little bit better than that. Rather than just showing you their page, I want to show you what it looks like inside of FluentCart. And I'm really happy to say that the folks at WPManageNinja were gracious enough to give me an early pre-release version of this. It's probably going to be a few more weeks before it comes out, 1 to 2 weeks at least. And the version I've got is, I don't even know if I would call it a beta yet. It is like the bleeding edge. There probably are still some problems in here that they haven't gone through yet. So if something blows up or goes wrong, don't worry about it. This is early release. It hasn't been through final testing. But I wanted to show you that it's here. It's FluentCart Pro, and it is just a wonderful little thing. Now, I started off setting this thing up for myself, and they've got some dummy data. I was able to put in some products that they had. There's other products that they also put in with some of their dummy data. I just chose menswear. They've got like men's shoes and a few other things. But to give you a quick look at what it's going to be like once they set things up, I was able to also get access to a test server that's got a bit more data on it. So this is the test server, and you can see there's already 32 products, 167 active coupons, some inactive coupons, and a ton of data. Also, a lot of information here to show how the orders are going. And I'll just pause here for a moment if you want to take a look. The total order amount, the paid order amount, the paid order count, and the order count. This is dummy data. So when you go in here and you see some of this stuff, these are not going to be real people. So there's not a real Norbert O'Connor. But we can see, what this person fictionally purchased, a hoodie and a fleece hoodie and a classic hoodie. We can come over to our customer information. You can see that we've got some right over here. And this is how you know it's dummy data, because it says example.com. And it just makes it easy to kind of go through and see what it looks like. So if you want to check out what some of the people look like and what orders they have, you can see an overview very quickly and easily. You can go through your orders and see what orders have been coming in. You can get a quick eye on your products. Let's click on one of those. And then if you want to see the URL for it, you'll click that. And it'll just kind of show you, here's what your sales page looks like. And of course, you can customize this and make it look a little bit more than what you want. I'm going to show you what it looks like behind the scenes. Like there's a shortcode in here to give you this information, but you can put more information on the page. Reporting is going to be a big deal for this. And you can see they've got a dashboard that gives you an overview. So your gross summary, gross revenue quarterly, and a few other things down here. And you can see that you can quickly take a look at dashboards for your net revenue, and you can filter that by date range. There's some quick links over here, or you can set your own range if you want to do that. And just check what you want to do. So let's try this with this month. And we can see their orders are, you can see your top products. In other words, you can kind of see what's working for you and what isn't working for you. So you can do more of what works and less of what doesn't. You can find variants. So for this crimson casual hoodie, well, let's click on that. And you'll see that there are variants over here. So there's different colors of the same thing. Let's go back to some of our reports. So you can see our revenues. And they've got a couple of different things. There's a default. There's, if you want to look at this by monthly, and a couple of different charts. Let me go back to default, because since this is dummy data, it's not live data that's coming in. So how you view this is going to be a little bit different. And you can just save this information if you want to, just quick download. You can take a look at some different charts. You can zoom in on things and get a line chart if you want to. And then you'll see your net revenue overall, what the order count is going to be, your gross sales, and then by group. So however you want to do it. If you want to look at this by country, you can do that. And of course, you can take it by billing country, by shipping country, by payment method. So let's take a look. Most of these are online because right now they've got Stripe integrated. They're about to get PayPal done. There are a number of other payment gateways they want to do, but those aren't complete yet. So the online is something that they use for test, and that's just a quick and easy way to do it. And same thing with payment method, PayPal and Stripe, you can see those over there. And then you can export this data. So you can see how people how they want to pay with you. Now, different parts of the globe have different payment systems that really are what they use. So PayPal is big in the United States. In South America, there's something, I think it's called LATAM. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but that's like their version of PayPal. So people are asking for that already. And there's going to be a number of payment gateways that WPManageNinja wants to put in here. I can't promise any of them because I don't work for them, but they've got a long list of things that they want to do. So if you want to take a look at your refunds, this is the nice thing about dummy data. Nobody returns anything. If you have subscriptions, so let's say a membership or some kind of service that you provide, let's say that you go out and you're do home inspections on a regular basis. Maybe you're doing a lawn service. Maybe you're doing pesticides or cleaning a house, and you want to sell that as a subscription, you can do that. Also, you could do this with some digital products. So for example, if you're a software vendor and you want to do annual subscriptions, so in other words, they can use the product and get full support for a year. If they want to continue support and get upgrades, then that would be a subscription as well too. And then you can see kind of by products. So if we look over here, you can see units sold, gross sale, customer count, and the average selling price. And down here, it gives you a bit more detail on what products that are selling. And as I said, you can see what's doing best up top. Apparently, Crimson is very popular on the dummy side. And if we scroll all the way down, well, business licenses are not selling quite as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's bad, because you may sell some business licenses for a lot more than a Crimson hoodie. So there's all sorts of reports. So licenses, you can have activation keys, and you can set this up. So we've got one here for a premium site crawler, 50 sites annual license. Let's click on that. Then you can create a license key or regenerate it if you need to. And you can see when they purchased it, how many activations they've made. And there's going to be pages for your customers to come in and manage all these things themselves as well. But I just, there's so much here, it's kind of hard to give you a look at everything, but I'm going to try. Integrations right now, they have integrations with MailChimp and, of course, their own product, FluentCRM. There will be more integrations to go. It's usually one of the first things I look at is what does it integrate with? But the nice part about this is that you don't have to integrate with too much, because all of the things that you would typically buy plugins for, use other services for with WooCommerce are already in here. So we can take a look at settings, and you'll see that we can set that up. Matter of fact, why don't we go through and show you what it looks like when you first set this up. So I'm here on my demo site, and I got excited. I've already put this on 2 sites just because I wanted to walk through it myself, and then I wanted to show you what it looks like. So let's go into the dashboard. So congratulations, I finished onboarding. Your store is already set up. And you can see we can set up pages. So it gives you a nice onboarding process when you go through. So let's go to set up pages. And then you can select which pages you want to set up. So in other words, you can use this short code, and there's a quick copy button there. And then what's your shop page going to be? Well, you could do shop. Now, one thing that's frustrating me a little bit is when I did this setup before, I didn't go through there like it said I was already done. And maybe that's something that's different with the fact that this is still incomplete software. What it gave me was a way to just push a button, and it created all of these pages for me. I thought that was brilliant. Because most places where you have to put out a page over there, all right, so now you got to go back and forth. You've got to go to select a shop page. Well, now I've got to go to pages and add a page. And I'll just call this shop. And I'll publish that. And if I was smart, I would have copied that short code already. So let's go back. So back in pages setup. So here's where I've got this short code. It's copied. So now I can go back to my pages. And like I said, when you first set this up, there's just a button you can push. You can use your own pages if you've already got them there, but there's a button you can push and it will create all of these pages for you. So I put in that short code. I save that, get a quick view of the page. And of course, there's nothing on here yet because I haven't set up my shop. I'll show you what this looks like. Now, this line up here is not part of what FluentCart looks like. I'm using the Cadence theme fresh out of the box. I haven't changed anything. So these colors back here in this header are all from your page settings that you would do in WordPress, or excuse me, they're from your page settings that you would do in WordPress. So you can do your single product and order setup, and you can choose which way do you want to do it, in a single page, or do you want to have relevant in a product modal, something that, is kind of like a bit of a pop-up. And then you've got a couple of options here. So image, text, or image with text. What kind of columns do you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, or a masonry column. You can do your theme setup, and you can choose your brand colors. And as you can see, I haven't done that yet. And a little bit of additional info. You can see where your cart icon is going to be. Do you want it in the body or in the menu bar? You can have it in both, so we can check that. Does the user need to be logged in for checkout? In some places you may want that, maybe perhaps some not. And do you want to hide the coupon field on checkout? And I like that idea because some people will go to checkout and they'll see there's a place to put on a coupon field. And the first thing they do is they stop checking out and they go search for a coupon, and they may not come back. So sometimes you may want to hide that checkout or that coupon field on checkout. And then you can show some more information. So I'm not going to go through all that. Your payment settings, as I mentioned, they want to do a lot. So right now, Stripe is there and PayPal is there. This pay cash upon delivery is, like I said, just on-site payment. But you can tell that they have plans for Molly, Square, Authorize.net, which is kind of one of the old ones, Razorpay, Airwallex, Paystack, and Paddle. I suspect there are going to be more. I can't really comment for them, but I've seen some comments from the CEO of WPManageNinja on their community forum who's mentioned that that is kind of a process for them. All right, so when you look at your receipt template, it is kind of your standard classic editor that's built in here. And you can see they've built that. You can have your store logo if you've uploaded that, and you can add short codes. So they will give you short codes for your customer, your payments, general stuff that's in here, and some settings. That's store name and store logo. And you can use those to customize how you want this receipt to look. But it's not just the receipt. If you go to your invoice and packing, well, you can see the same thing there. So your invoice template, your packing slip template, delivery slip template, shipping slip, dispatch slip. And as it says, under development, these things are still being worked on because this is early pre-release software. But you can tell that they've kind of put something in here already. So these short codes will fill in automatically with the code or the data from the person who's checking out. So we don't have any checkout actions. We can add an integration. Right now, we only have FluentCRM as an integration. And you can add somebody to a list. Maybe there'll be your members. I've got a broadcast list that I put out. So you can create whatever list you want to have them added to that as they do a checkout. So email notifications, you can say if this is going to be sending to your customers or maybe your potential customers, who it's from, what's the email, the reply to name. And the reason you have this is in case you do a no reply here. This is a weird thing. A no reply email address means that when you reply to it, it doesn't go anywhere. But if you have a reply to email option, even if you do a no reply there, it'll still go to whoever you put in here. So that's kind of the way that system works. You can customize your email footer. Again, you've got all the short codes that you can use. And then email notifications, you can enable or disable them. So if you want to get an email after you've created that administrators created an order, or if they've updated, and I won't read all of these things off to you, but you can see like a customer refund, and this will be, editing this email will be available later. So that's something that's not there yet. We have coupons, and you can add a coupon. Let's see if that's available yet. So basic stuff you can put in, is the value going to be fixed or percentage? So in other words, are you going to give somebody a 10%, 50% discount, or a fixed discount, like maybe it's only a $10 discount? And is there a minimum purchase amount? Is there a max discount amount? So it's only good for up to $50 or something of that nature. And you can schedule these so they start and end. A lot of these features that we're looking at here require some kind of plugin to do with WooCommerce. So I don't have any logs. Let's go back to the test site and let's take a look at some of the logs to see if they've got any of that data. So you can see there were some products that were deleted, after payment actions process, status change from pending to complete. So you can see what's going on. You can see at a glance what was successful. Are there any warnings? Did anything fail? Just information only and API only if you've got people accessing things programmatically. You can set up your product categories. So they have menswear and men's shoes. And then you can set up your product types, which they don't have anything set up over here. But let's go take a quick look at the front end again. So if we visit this site, you can see they've got their shoes there and they've got a little counter so you can keep going over. You can also filter things or search for them here. So if we wanted to look at just menswear, we can check that box, and we could also toggle, what's the price range. You can apply a filter, and then here you go with your menswear, and you can see where they've got these photos because there are variants of what you can get. So do you want it in one of these 5 colors? And how many do you want? So let's say we selected white. I want one of those. And let's try sea green. Can I add one of those as well too? So I've got 2. I don't know if I've got one white and one sea green, but you know what? Let's add it to the cart and find out. Looks like I've got 1 for sea green. Okay. And then all those pages that you need to create, like if somebody wants to look at their receipt, well, you don't have one for this user because I haven't bought anything yet. You can see what's inside of your cart. The checkout page is here, so you can see what I've got, and you can add your information and any shipping methods that'll come up. So some people will have shipping methods, some won't, because if you're doing digital deliveries or subscription services, you're not shipping anything to them. This is kind of if you're doing a physical product. And then your payment method, well, right now they only have the cash on delivery on this particular site. Your customer profile, I'm not logged in as a FluentCart customer. That's awful. And then you can register, and it says I'm already logged in, so it's using the WordPress login. And is there a custom payment page? No orders found. All right, so this is what I get for looking at something that is just basically a brand new demo thing. So do you want to have a yearly purchase or a one-time purchase? And this is one of the things I like. So one time is kind of like a lifetime deal. Do you want a single site license or a 5-site license one time? Or do you want to pay yearly? You can tell that if you've got a 5-site license, by the time you've paid for 2 years on this example, you would have already paid for the annual lifetime payment. So it's kind of good to see options like this. What I'm finding is this is beautiful. It is fast. It's quick. There's still WordPress attached to it. If you're wondering if you can use this with any theme, pretty much the answer is yes. They've got plans for Divi and other themes. I'm doing it with Cadence without any problems. There are plans for Elementor and other page builders, and I don't know what the shipping dates are going to be. I think they're still working some of this out. I would say you're probably going to see maybe a beta come in a couple of weeks, but that is a quick look at what this is. And also, there's going to be a way to import your WooCommerce site information over to this. So that is a nice thing if you want to migrate and check it out. I also want to point out that I'm using the Pro version here, but there is a free version available. Now, this is open source. It's well documented for developers. The Pro version is going to give you additional features for a fee. The free version, FluentCart Core, is going to be kind of your open source base for this, the core of it. And if you wanted to test some things out, you could test it out there when this product comes out. So the core version, I'm pretty sure will be in the WordPress repository. And then the Pro version, they will sell on the WPManageNinja site. And when that's available, I'll have another video for it. But yeah, I'm actually very excited about this. And I think the reason why is because the first thing I'm thinking of is for my daughter. She's got an Etsy store, and of course she's got to give a chunk of her money to Etsy for what she sells. And she's an artist, so she draws these little kind of funky looking stickers, and she's got characters, and she's made some nice progress with it. I'd like to set her up with her own shop. This is a way to do that. Also, for me, I've got a membership site, so let's take a quick look. So this is the front door of the community. I charge $10 one-time fee for this. Eventually, it might be a $10 monthly fee, but for right now, it's $10, and you get in without any more payments. And you get access to everything that I've got inside there. So any discussions going on, we've got a small group right now, so still under 100 people, but we've got some discussions. I've got some courses that I put out there. In fact, I'm building a course inside of there on Fluent Community itself because a number of people expressed interest in that. And this is kind of what I'm promising. No ads. And the nice thing about people who've paid for access to it is that you don't get a lot of the riffraff that you see on some public communities. So we've got a very nice group of people out there. So just take a quick look inside. And here you can see just earlier today, a couple hours ago, I said, just got my hands on FluentCart. And I set up a quick website just for folks to take a look at that. I'm not going to keep this particular site up forever, but I'll keep it up for a week or two. So today I'm recording this on June 6, 2025. Let's say that I keep it up till June 15th on Father's Day. It may not be there after that. But that would give you kind of a public view of what this looks like. After that, I think you're going to see more things come out from WPManageNinja, and other people are going to start setting up their own sites. So you won't necessarily be needing this for a sneak peek. And that was my reason why. And as I said, inside of my community, there's the latest lesson I added to my course, Fluent Community Behind the Scenes, and I'm discussing like server setup. We've got a number of groups. It's pretty easy to, collapse things. If you're looking for something, just kind of look for the group description, and then you can expand to see what you want. So I've got a handful of courses over here. Onboarding is pretty easy. I'll give you a start here. I'll give you, if you want to promote things, that's fine. I'll tell you where you're allowed to do it and where you're not. Where to request support. I've got this over here. Like you can see support tickets like under your profile picture, or down here on the side, I've got this connected to Fluent Support. So that was a pretty easy thing to do. And it's just really easy to get started. We've got people who can say hello in here. I've even posted a site tour. So this is actually a course. And then you can click on this, and I'll spend 12 minutes and 19 seconds showing you around what the site looks like. There are, a member directory, leaderboard, support, again, I've got over here, and docs. I've got a knowledge base that is small but growing. So if you decide that you want to join in on the Suburbia Press community, I'd be happy to have you. I'll have a link to that below. It is hub.suburbiapress.com. And we're going to be talking about FluentCart inside because we've got a number of people that are interested in commerce solutions. And this is one that I'm really excited about. I had just bought a plugin for WooCommerce called ModernCart from the same folks that make SureCart. And I was about to come up with something on that. And now I'm thinking, you know what? I may have wasted my money on that because I may not use it. I may be going with FluentCart instead. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If you're part of the community, obviously, I've got some posts up there in the e-commerce solutions area. You can ask me questions there as well. And I can do a quick video or tutorial there as well. So I will share more of this on YouTube. I'll share more of this in my community. And like I said, I'm happy. I'm really excited about this. I want to say thank you to the CEO from WPManageNinja, Jewel, who provided me with early access and said I'm allowed to share this. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it helps you out. And as I said, if you have questions, let's hear them. Thanks so much. I'll see you again in the next video.